Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, man? This is AJ coming to you live from the friendly confines here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's the Men Lives Matter podcast. And right now, that podcast is going to be on the Conspiracy Brother thread, but soon I will have my own thread and my own show title. So right now, we're just doing this under the Conspiracy Brother podcast forum. And well, welcome. And like I said, this is the Men Lives Matter podcast. And on this episode, well, just a little bit about the podcast as I fire up this nice little Romeo and Julieta cigar. Let me go ahead and you can hear me kind of get that mug kind of lit. I like the sound. On the pod. Nothing like a good cigar. Nothing like it. Also, I got my Crown. My Crown apple and cranberry. Very delicious. Man, that is hitting all the right spots. But basically, I've been for the longest time. I know I gave you guys a little preview. Try to get this mother lit. So I gave you guys a little preview of the show a couple of weeks ago. Just kind of some things that kind of popped up, and it was kind of short. And some of these will be short, maybe 10 or 20. It depends on what kind of tirade, or if I have a guest come on, and somebody want to debate me or whatever. It might get a little longer. But basically what the Men's Lives Matter podcast is going to be about is basically going to be about just a place where guys can come be guys, where men can be men. We don't have to apologize for making a statement. We don't have to make excuses or we can take criticism and not get our panties all in a bunch. I mean, that's what it used to be like to be a man. We make manly decisions. We do things as men, and we don't necessarily apologize for being a man. It seems like in this world today, everything that we do now is under some type of scrutiny where men are under attack. So this podcast, man, where you can come to it and you can listen to it, and you can be better for it in your relationship. You can definitely put other guys on to it, and we can come and have our own little powwow and discuss the world issues and discuss things in the world, from any sports, politics, debate, whatever you want to do. Oh wow, this is definitely that zone where you can definitely do that and feel free to express those thoughts, free of ridicule. Free of making a politically incorrect statement and offending somebody, which seems to be what's going on in the world today, where you can say anything and everybody's apologizing because we live in this feminine world now, and as a man, I'm not taking it anymore. So on today's episode, what I really want to discuss is relationships and the man's role in a relationship. And I'm not going to speak from a woman's role because obviously I'm not a woman. So I'm not going to speak from their perspective because I'm not them, and I don't, their role, and there's something they need to discuss amongst themselves. So for me, the role of a relationship as a man is very, in the 21st century, it is very different than the relationship that my father had with my mom, or the relationship that my grandfather had with my grandmother, and my uncles and his wife. It is very different. Even though I was raised by my father, and I look at my father as someone, as a beacon of what I am, a spitting image of him and how he thinks and how he feels about things in this world. That is me, and I makes no I apologize to no one for how I feel and how I think. Several times I've been called a chauvinist or things like that because of how I feel, and it's ridiculous because to me, it's being a man is a foundation, the foundation of the family. He's the foundation of this country. Our men are the foundation. We are the ones that's out there building shit. We are the ones that they're protecting shit. It's us. We are the ones that consistently put our lives on the line. Yes, I know there are women in the military. Yes, I know there are female cops. Yes, I know. I understand that. I get it. But to anybody out there that is in a situation where the cops are called and you need somebody to start whooping your ass, you tell me, when you call the cops, do you feel safer with two women coming to save you, or you feel safer with two men? I'll rest my case. So moving on from that, when it comes to relationships, men choose. Well, I take that, but let me rephrase that. Men do not choose. Men choose women based off three things. Okay, well, more than three, but these are three things I kind of look at. Number one, will men base the woman that they choose. All right, and I'm not talking about having sex with. Okay, for that that shit kind of goes a whole bunch of different ways. It doesn't really matter. Like we pretty much fuck anything. Just to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like men, when it comes to sexual and getting a nut off, the standard goes out the window. But when it comes to a relationship, there are things that we look at, and I think ladies can listen to this and get a lot of information to see where you fall at in the category of things that men look at, and do you have these qualities and these traits? Okay. The first thing that we look at from a woman that we want to court and make our wives, not our girlfriends or relationship with, the first thing we look at is, are you respectable? Okay. And what I mean by respectable is, can I take you around my friends? All right. Can I take you around my mother and my father and you not make me look like an idiot? Okay. Are you respectable? Are you someone that I can have on my arm and other people know that A, you're with me, and B, they have no shot at getting you because you don't give off that vibe. You give off that vibe that yes, you belong to me. You belong to the man that you're with. You carry yourself like you belong to someone. Okay? And that's something that men look at when it comes to choosing a wife. Okay, we live in this world now, this digital world where everybody's on Instagram and they're on Twitter and they on Facebook and all this stuff. And you have constant men getting at you. Now, do you have respect? Are you respectable enough that you won't even entertain any advancement by any other man because you know you're taken? When you go out to a bar, when you go out with your friends, and a man offers to buy you and your friends a drink, do you turn that drink down because you know that you belong to someone? You belong to someone, so you don't accept anything from any other man at all because you know what? You belong to someone else. You are taken. That's respect. That's the kind of woman that a real man, a man wants to date, wants to have in his courtship. Okay, wants to court, wants to get to know her, wants to marry, and wants to possibly someone that he wants to have as children. A real man. Okay, now that's important. Like that's very important that when you choosing someone that they have these qualities about them, that the qualities that you can respect them. Because if you respect them, I mean, you won't do certain things. You won't address them a certain way. You won't call them a bitch to your boys, or you won't let your boys call her your bitch. You won't let your boys call her out her name, even in general conversation, because she garners that respect. And not only does she garner the respect from you, she garners the respect of your friends and your family. So with that respect, now all of a sudden you have a respectable relationship, which is something that's very important. A respectable relationship. And ladies, if your man allows his friends to treat you a certain way, allows his family to treat you a certain way, then guess what? You don't have a stable relationship, or he don't respect you. All right? And you don't respect yourself. Number two, what men look at when it comes to a woman that is on his level to date, marry, or be in a relationship with of some significance is the mother factor. Now, what I mean by that is this: not necessarily about his mother, or if you were to have children with this man, would this man trust you to educate and raise his kids? To be a part, be that other part, that emotional, that nurturing, that guidance that is needed to create a well-rounded human being. Do you have that? Do you have those qualities about yourself? And what I mean by those qualities about yourself, again, it comes back to respect, but we get past that. But like, do you have the ability to articulate yourself in a way that your kids will grow up and be able to articulate themselves in a very respectful manner, be able to engage in conversation in a very respectable manner, and also have manners and discipline, and you instill those same things that the man lays down that foundation for. You are basically a united front. The foundation that the man lays down, you in turn regurgitate those same foundations and values to your kids so that you can raise responsible adults. That's something that men look at when it comes to the wife or the girlfriend that they want to potentially marry. Those are the traits that we look for. And number three, three things, some of the most important things that we look at is, what is your hustle? What is your level of dedication or your drive? What is your drive? What is your passion? Are you a happy individual? And what I mean by that is there's a lot of women out here that are on Facebook or that's good. There are a lot of women out here that are what I call Facebook happy. You see their posts, you see their pictures, with kids or whatever, and they're all happy. They're a bundle of joy online. But then when you meet them, their life is an absolute mess. And the reason why their life is an absolute mess is because they picked the wrong person in their lives consistently to be the leader of their tribe, and that person is not the leader of their tribe. That man is not a man. He's something less than that. He's an individual that is a parasite. He's a roach. He's a leech. And so they attach themselves to those types of individuals, thinking that they're a man, and they're not. So men, when they look for those individuals, when they look for someone that they want to be with, they look for, what's your drive, what's your passion, okay? It's not necessarily the job that you have now, but what's the job or the career or the partnership that you want to have tomorrow? What is your vision? What is your 5-year goal? What's your goals? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And a woman should be able to articulate that to her man, or to the person that she wants to be with. And he should be able to articulate that to her. But again, I'm not speaking for women because I'm not a woman. I'm a man. I'm not trying to educate my other brothers and educate women, if you're listening to this, on things that you need to figure out if your man or someone you're dating is bringing to the table. Because if not, you got a fraud. You don't have a man, you have a fraud. So, with that being said, it's a respect factor. It is what's your drive, what's your hustle, like what's your vision, what's your vision as a mother, what's your vision as a participant in this relationship, what is your vision as a couple, like what do you see, where do you want to go with this, where do you see yourself in 5 years, career wise, anywhere wise, like where do you see yourself? And then once she articulate those goals, then she also has a plan of action. Like, how is she going to get those goals? How is she going to obtain those goals? Because once she knows where she's going, then you as a man, we as men are able to groom, educate, and push her to get those goals that she wants to achieve. Just the same way will have to enably push the man to get to where he wants to be. All right. Now, the last thing, I don't say the last thing, but this is the last thing on my list, is number 4, is probably one of the most important things when it comes to a man and woman. When a man chooses a woman that he wants to be with for that future, for that long run, for that longevity, is she willing to accept her role? Now, I know when you hear that, accept my role, what does that, what you mean, accept my role? Yes, accept your role. Your role in his life. Your role as number uno, top dog, number 1 in his life. You understand your role. You understand your position in his life, your responsibility in his life, your duty in his life. Your duty in his life is to support him. Unconditionally support him. Your duty is to motivate and push him unconditionally. That's your role. Your role is to also make sure that when he comes home from a stressful day of work, from a stressful day of life, that you build him back up so that he can go out there and do the same thing tomorrow and deal with it tomorrow. Now, I know it's easy, and that's something that we have gotten away from big time. And the reason being is because women now work today. So in their mind, they feel like, well, if I'm doing that for him, he should do that for me. Okay? And that's where things get kind of thrown out of whack. Right there. Because now you are expecting him to take the role of a woman. You are expecting him to do things that is just not in his character, is not in his genetic makeup, is not what he does, is not what he do. Yes, he can support you. Yes, he can motivate you. Yes, he can push you. But the all the nurture and all that kind of stuff, that's not his role. That's not in his DNA. That is not what he was designed to do. He was not built. Men are not built that way. And it seems like we are expected to operate as women when we in fact are not women. We are not. We are men. And we operate differently than women. And once people recognize and realize that we are different and we accept our roles and our roles are different, then you can have a much more great experience together if you accept those roles. If you accept your role in his life. Don't expect him to do the things for you that you do for him, because that's not his role. His role is completely different. What he brings to the table is completely different than what you bring to the table. Because if it was both the same, then you would marry the same person as you. If you want that emotional and feelings and all that kind of stuff, if you want that, then you marry a woman, because she's capable of giving that, because that is her genetic makeup. That is not the genetic makeup as a man. Okay? The problem that's coming along today is that a lot of women want female characteristics in a man, but want a man at the same time, and it don't work that way. I'm sorry, it don't work that way. And that's where it comes from a lot of single parent home, because you only get one side of the coin. You're learning from one side of the coin. So you expecting to get everything from one side of the coin. You got guys being raised by women, and they only learn the female way of doing things because there's no man in their lives to show them what it's like to be a man. So you only get in one side of the coin. So you learning kind of on the fly because you don't know the other side of the coin. So until you get a well-rounded coin, then you will understand how these things work. Now, understand that his role in your life is completely different than the role you have in his life. And once you understand that, then you will understand that what your place is, and you will understand that what your role is, and you will understand that, hey, we could be on to a great life together because I know what my responsibilities are, and you know what your responsibilities are, and together we got everything taken care of. I can remember growing up, my dad was a mill worker, railroad worker. Say that 3 times fast. He worked on a rail yard, things like that. Very, very, very gritty, dirty job. Outside, snow, heat, it didn't matter. He was outside doing his work. Just like most men who work in factories and work in, coal mining, these manly jobs, all this kind of stuff, the construction, all that kind of stuff. Whereas my mom, she was a beautician. Now, I'm not going to sit here and belittle her job and say they working, standing on her feet hours a day, feet tired, her feet are hurting, hands are tired. But guess what? Guess what my mom knew? My mom knew her role in my father's life. My mom knew that she was to never overstep my father. And people say, "Oh, that's no." They've been married 43 years, or 44 years, though, whatever it is right now. And they're the best of friends because each of them understand their role. Yes, my mom will make suggestions. Yes, my mom will have ideas and things that she wanted to do. But she knew that without the approval of my father, those things were not getting done. And my father, he knew that by listening to her, sometimes she would have good ideas. But it just, the timing wasn't right for them to do the things that she wanted to do at that particular time. So yes, those things got done, but at his pace, when he felt it was the right time, or things can go together. And my mom accepted that. And sometimes my dad, openly, honestly, to be fair, made the wrong decision. He'll be the first to admit he made some wrong decisions on things like that. But it's the foundation was laid that he's the final say. He's the king of the castle. So because he's the king of that castle, he makes those tough decisions. He makes a decision whether they're right or wrong, or whether they work out or they don't, because he's the one that has to deal with it. Because he's the man of the house. If shit goes sideways, he's the one got to fix it. Period, point blank. So my mom knew her role in my father's life. Hence why they're still married to this day. So those are the things that men look for in a woman. Also, well, I really want to talk to ladies right now on this one. If you're listening, probably not. I don't know. You should get some knowledge. The one thing that y'all do that makes things difficult for yourself is your selection and your poor decision making in men. And I'm going to say that one more time. What makes your life difficult for you? Yeah, I'm recording it. See, what makes things difficult for you is your decision making in your life. You make the decision making. So, let me explain. That was good. Let me explain. I got a friend that is dating someone right now, and she's having a very difficult time. Very difficult time right now. When she met the guy, she had 2 kids. I think there was I would say between the ages of 9 and 12, something like that. Right, she had 2 kids. Um, Kids has I think one of them has autism. I think they both might have autism or something of that effect. So needless to say that her kids at times can be difficult, not by their own fault, but just difficult based off their chemical imbalance and things that they kind of have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So her kids will get older. So as they got older, they was becoming more and more manageable. I mean, she's been a single mom pretty much from the beginning. No one was really involved. So then she goes out and meet this guy. She gets with this guy, dates him for a while. Then all of a sudden she gets pregnant, has another child, another son. Then she moves to another state with this guy, and within another year, she has another kid. So now she has 4 kids, 2 with this guy and then 2 from the previous situation. So, decision making. You had a difficult. You went out and chose a man, and without giving it any time, without giving it any thought, without giving having put any time in to see what kind of father this guy would be to not only the kids that we might have together, but what about to the kids I already have? So now she complains that he doesn't spend time, he doesn't do basically all the things that he don't do for them, and it's like she's doing it all alone and she's stressed out because he's not doing anything. And I have to ask myself, if you would have given him time, just time, to say, you know what, I got 2 kids, I don't want no more kids right now. How about we date? Okay, we take the proper precautions to ensure that I don't get pregnant. I'm not saying abstinence, that's ridiculous. But I'm going to get on a pill, or I'm going to take the shot, or whatever it is for birth control, or you wear condoms, or however you choose to go about that route. Okay? But you are responsible. You make the responsible decision to say, you know what, I want to learn who you are as a father, as a person. Okay? So, yes, I will date you. I will have my own place. You can have your own place. And maybe after 6 months to a year of dating and going out with each other, then if we decide to move in together, again, I'm not against that, move in with each other. And then after living with each other, you live with each other for a year or two. A year or two before you decide, like, okay, you know what? I'm liking this person. He does a lot for my kids. He does a lot of this. He does a lot of that. He makes good decisions. He's moving forward. He's a man with a plan, and he's definitely a respectable man. Because again, you make the choice. It's your body. You're making the choice who you allow in your body. You are making a choice. It's not against your will. It's not a rape situation. You are making a choice. So if you'll wait those 2 years, so now all of a sudden you're 3 years in, right? You still got your kids, your two kids that are kind of difficult. I'm not saying the devil. This is the words I'm saying. The words you told me, but my daughter is high functioning autism, so I know what it's like. But anyway, so in that time frame, if you take the time in those 3 years, someone's true colors will show up. They will. They have to. Because you can only play the game so long. You can only play the role for so long. In that time frame, you would have learned, you would have known the type of person he was. The type of person he was when you're not the cute girl on the block anymore. When you're not the apple of his eye anymore. You would have learned how he acted. And then, based off that, you will be in a better situation Because if you didn't want to be with him, guess what? You still got your 2 kids. You was making it without him. You can leave and continue to make it without him. Yeah, it sucks that you taking another man out of your son's lives. Yes, that's difficult. But you're not adding 2 more lives to that mix. Because you make the wise decision. You're making smart choices in your selection of men. See, the problem is a lot of women make the wrong choices. And I'm not saying that just because you got divorced or just because you got a breakup, that's you made the wrong choice. No. You make the wrong choice when you make the wrong decisions over and over and over again. You already got 2 kids. And the thing is, everything I'm saying right now, even though I'm not saying her name, I've told her, I've said it to her face. So I feel comfortable and confident that I'm not speaking out of school. And if I am, so fucking what? So if you already made a bad decision twice because you got 2 kids already by 2 different men already, that should tell you that, you know what, maybe I need to slow down. And you did slow down because, you know what, you took the time in between. It was 7 to 8 years in between your next kids, your next son. So you was on the right path of understanding. You dealt with a bunch of bullshit and you didn't let it get to you, so that you were able to make the right decision for your kids moving forward. But now I'm returning you in another shitty situation with more responsibility. So now if you leave, it's going to be more trouble because now you're going to need more daycare. Right now, your kids are 13, 12, 9. Daycare is easy. Put out of school program, put them in a sport. They go to practice. So now school, I mean, you got different things to put them in to where you're not paying out the ass for daycare. You're not paying out the ass for anything like that. But now you got a 2 and a 6-month-old. You up shit creek again. And you're only 30 years old. So you up shit creek again. And now it's for a longer period of time. So now when your 2 older sons are out the door and grown, you still got 2 more that is 10 and 9. They're 10 and 8 years old. And you're 40. These are the things when it comes to decision making. And it's these, well, it's his response. He's a man. He should be a man. Step up. No, you should be a woman and choose the right man. Let me explain. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give y'all a little inside baseball, lady. I'm gonna give y'all a little. And fellas, I apologize, but you know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and keep it real because I think women notice it. What I'm about to say. This is gotta keep going out on me. And I know I ain't really speaking out of school. If I am, I don't give a fuck. The thing is this. Fellas, women, let me explain something to you. Let me be honest. There's a reason why some of y'all don't have men. I'm going to say it again. There's a reason why some of y'all don't have men. And it's not because you can't find someone. It's not because you're waiting for the right one or whatever the case y'all say, you waiting or whatever. It's not because of any of those reasons. The reason why is you're just not girlfriend material. You're not wife material. You are fun, let me date for a couple of months, get some ass material, but you're not, I want to give you my last name, start a family material. You're not. You're not. I can hear it now. That's bullshit, man. You're not. The reason why you're not is because men know who we want to marry, who's wife material, and who's let me fuck around and get some ass material. We know the difference, and we treat you accordingly. That's the game. So if you got a dude that won't commit to you, it's because you don't have those 4 things I talked about in the beginning. You don't have those things. But what you do have, you have a fat ass, some big titties, or you're cute. So we'll play with that for sure. We'll play with that. We'll enjoy it. And we'll string you along because it's something fun to do. But you just don't have those qualities that we need to proceed forward. So think about that. Think about those things that I said in the beginning. Do you respect yourself? Do you have a goal? Do you know your role? And are your mother like? Because if you don't have those, you're not going anywhere. You're not. You will be in the 6, 9, 12-month rotation is where you will always be. We'll keep you around because you're cute, got a fat ass, or some nice titties. That's real. That's some realness for you. And some of y'all don't understand that. So you sit around here, you post on Instagram how you're looking for the right man and all this and that. You will never find him because he ain't gonna give you, the right man will not give you the time of day. A bunch of scrubs will. And that's why you will continue to make these posts about men, because you're dating scrubs. You're dating penguins. You're dating your food. You will never get a lion, because a lion won't put up with that shit. He won't. A lion won't tolerate that shit at all. If you don't have the things that he's looking for, you would not. You ever and I'm gonna give you an example, ladies. I'm gonna break it down to you. You ever see a woman that is not nearly as attractive as you? You probably got friends that's not nearly as hot as you are. Yet they got a man. Yet they're married. Yet they're happy. Yet they got, all kind of whatever they want going on. They got it all. But you are way hotter than them, and yet you ain't got no man. If you live in Indianapolis, go up to Geis. See them housewives up there on Geis Lake. Go to Carmel. Go see some of them Carmel moms up there. There ain't no models. There ain't no models up there. Ain't no models in Fishers. Ain't no models out there. There's a couple of nice moms, but for the most part, not just basic ass women. Basic as fuck. Some of them might be, on a big side or whatever. But guess what? They have the 4 things, the 4 requirements that he was looking for. She knew what her role is. She know her role in the house. She know her role. She knows her role. To play her role to the T. Whether it's she know her role. She expresses the mom factor. He can look at her and say, "You know what, man? That's the woman that's gonna raise my kids, and my kids can grow up and be respectable, responsible human beings." Number 2, she had a drive and a passion of something that he looked at in her and said, "You know what? I can deal with that. I can move forward with that." And number 1, she had respect for herself. She respected him and she respected herself. So because of that respect, he saw it in that man. He looked past all that other shit that she didn't have physically. Because again, a man knows, man, you only lease things that depreciate. You invest in things that appreciate. Your looks, no matter how good you look right now, that shit is a depreciating asset. It get worse with time. But your friendship, your respect level, your mom-like factor, your drive, that shit appreciates over time. Because the longer we're together, the more shit we can accumulate and the more shit we can build together. And building shit appreciates. To all you fine chicks, we'll lease you like a fucking car. We'll lease you and put some miles on your ass, and when we done, you're gonna get your ass back. And let somebody else take over that shit with a bad alternator, a bad battery. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna pay for that shit. Somebody else can come along and take over the lease on that shit. They gonna try about, but you already damaged good. You've been used up, and we know real men know that. So we not finna invest in that at all. Why would we? Why should you invest in that shit? Real talk. Why should you? Why should you? And again, it's easy to say, well, man, listen, no, but what I'm saying is, make no mistake about it. There are boys out here. There are scrubs. There are parasites, roaches, fucking leeches that will leech onto that shit. You know what I mean? And they make it extremely hard for real men out here. Extremely hard, because they play the game by a different set of rules. They throw money at you and all kind of shit, and they got you thinking that's what a man supposed to do. And no, that ain't what a man's supposed to do. We live in a celebrity culture right now where everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be recognized or noticed or be in a crowd and have somebody singing to them and call them up on stage and all that shit. That shit happens to less than 1% of the population on the planet. The rest of us motherfuckers, we go to work every day. You know what I mean? We try to carve out a little niche in our lives, a little niche, a little piece of that pie. You know what I mean? We try to carve a little piece of this thing called the American dream. We try to carve a little shit out for us, and we do a pretty damn good job at it. Most men, and when women accept that hey, you know what? I'm not gonna date fucking Tyrese or whoever the fuck it is. You know, I'm not gonna date them. They definitely leash you for sure, but you're not on their level. You know what I'm saying? They know what lane they in, but once you date inside your lane and know what lane. But I think my next show is gonna be about recognizing the lane. We'll get into that later. But once you know your role and realize, I can have a good life if I just play my part in it. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies, look in the mirror and ask yourself, do you have those 4 things? Those 4 qualities? Because it seems like the only quality that a lot of y'all bring to the table is a fat ass and some big titties and a cute face. That's what you're bringing. But guess what? So was that 22-year-old. So was that 24-year-old. So was that new chick that y'all see at my job. She got a fat ass too. But guess what? She got drive. She got passion. She got that mom-like factor. You know what I'm saying? Where she could be the mother of my kids and take care of home, and she know her role. So she's winning. Or, yeah, she might not be as cute as you. She might not be as hot as you. But she bring those 4 things in my life, man, I'm winning. I'm straight. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I can always go play. I can play with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you can play, but you ain't buying shit. We ain't gonna buy you. We'll rent. We'll rent your ass for sure. And when them terms is up, you gonna go on back out there with the rest of them. And that's real. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of y'all, once you recognize what your role is, you know what I'm saying? Because I hear it all the time. Ain't no good men out here. Nah, it's plenty. It's plenty. There's plenty of good brothers. Now, I was doing some math today because I was doing some show prep earlier, just kind of get my thoughts together what I was going to talk about today. And I think in my circle of guys that I know, I'm probably right about 30 cats, 30 dudes that I'm pretty cool with. You know what I mean? Probably about a good half of those I talk to on a pretty consistent basis. On a pretty consistent basis, we talk. You know, then about 4 or 5 of those I talk with a lot. You know what I mean? Like we a lot. Like we in there. And out of all my guys, some of them are married, some of them been married for a long time. Every last one of them is a solid dude. Solid. Job, career, crib, car, take care of their kids. Like, all of that shit. All of it. All of it is right. Every last one of them got it. Every last single one. And I don't hang with not one that don't do that. They all have that trait. If I know 30 and you mean tell me you can't find one, who the fuck you hanging out with? Who in your circle? Who your girls hang? Who you hanging out with that you in that circle where you ain't finding nobody on that level? You know what I'm saying? Well, who you hanging? What group you hanging in? And a lot of these cats that's in my life, literally, some of them came in my life within the past 5 years. So a lot of these ain't childhood friends. A lot of them ain't childhood friends. A lot of these is friends I've met since I've been here. Moose. I met Moose 6 years ago. Moose is a solid ass dude. Solid. Rock solid. 100%. D-Lo on the show. Solid dude. 100%. I just met D-Lo about 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Solid. You know what I'm saying? Good dude. Take care. Read books. That's why I call them books. Educated. You know what I'm saying? Do a podcast on here. You know what I'm saying? Arlo. I met Gritty. Gritty, what, about a year ago? A year and a half ago? Somewhere around that time? Solid dude. Like, I'm solid dude. Like, I vouch for these cats. You know what I mean? And I don't hang with them like that, but I vouch for them because I see how they carry themselves on a daily basis. I vouch for them. Keith. I met Keith probably about, for the first time, probably about 2 years ago. And then probably within the past 6 months, because me and him have similar interests in cigars and kind of like just business-minded kind of stuff. We have a different conversation. Me and Keith been hanging strong for about 6 months. Solid cat. Then you know the usual suspects. You know, Johnny and the guy on the couch and then my boy Nico. You know, all solid dudes. All of them solid, man. All of them. You know what I mean? Then I got my homeboy out in Columbus. He done a couple of shows with Mateo. Solid dude. Like Rockstar. He a young cat too. He like 25. Solid cat, man. Solid. 100. Vouch for him. Taze, who was on the show last week. Who was on the Heavy Hitters last Tuesday. Solid dude. And all these cats I named, with the exception of Johnny and Nico, I've been knowing them cats less than 5 years, man. They all solid. So how is it that I'm a man and I'm surrounded by all these solid dudes just as far as like just coming into my life at very random periods in my life. I haven't gotten to like the Jasons, the Als, the Kevins, the Larrys, the Jermaines, the BJs, the Omars, like I haven't even got to all them cats. It was my day ones, like my teammates from college. But all them cats I named are solid dudes. So how is it I know all these solid dudes, but yeah, you're a woman, you can't find one. You can't find one dude. You can't find one guy out of all these options out there for you. You can't find one dude. But nah, you so quick to blame all the guys. You quick to blame everybody for your lack of judgment and your lack of discretion. Your lack of decision making. It's your fault. It's your fault that you chose the flash over the real. You chose the car over the house. You chose the ring over the credit. You chose all those things. You chose everything that's material, and you overlook all the shit that matters. And you're not realizing it ain't settling to get with somebody who don't necessarily look the part, but they are the part. There are certain people, when they get a role in a movie, you know, they weren't the first choice. Y'all realize that we all have seen Malcolm X, the movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington. What people don't know is Lawrence Fishburne was the first option. The first to plead Malcolm X. And he couldn't do the role. Only if he turned it down and didn't want it, but Denzel did it. Denzel did that shit so good that you can't see nobody else playing Malcolm X. You can't even see Malcolm X playing Malcolm X besides Denzel Washington, because he played that shit so damn good. A lot of you don't realize that Tom Cruise was the first choice for Iron Man. The very first choice for Iron Man was Tom Cruise. He didn't get it. He's the first choice. They wanted Tom Cruise. I don't know how many people they went to before they got to Robert Downey Jr. But guess what? Robert Downey Jr. played that part so damn good that you can't see nobody else being Iron Man but him. You can't see Iron Man without seeing Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark. You can't see it. You can't see nobody else playing that role. So sometimes you gotta get off your high horse, and sometimes your first option ain't the right option. Your first choice ain't the right choice. That second, third option, that choice right there, you know what? That's the one that has stability. That's the one you need. That's the one that you can get behind, and that you can ride that fucking cape to the top. You can ride it to the top, but you got to make better decisions. That dude that want to get at you, that got a little dirt on, a little extra something about him. He ain't driving this. He ain't riding in that. He work every day. He ain't flossing. That might be the guy you need to look at. Stop looking at these ones on Instagram flashing money. You know what I mean? But those are the ones you want. The ones all in your DMs. You know what I mean? That's how you carry yourself. So how you carry yourself and how you respect yourself is the man you get, and it's the man you deserve. So this has been Men Lives Matter. You can tune in to us. I think we're probably going to drop shows every Monday night. I'm trying to get on the Monday night schedule. But definitely tune in. Please subscribe to the show. Tell a friend. Tell 2 people about the podcast, man. If you like what you hear, man, drop me a little note. You can find me on Instagram at The Truth Is Funny, or you can find me on Twitter, or hit us up on the Heavy Hitters Radio Show on the podcast. So I'm sure I'm gonna have a Men Lives Matter shit coming soon, a lot more stuff. But I just want to drop a couple of gems on you, man, to make sure that everything was Gucci. So until next time, man. Love yourself and love each other. I'm out of here. Peace.